In this lesson, I'll introduce the object-oriented programming paradigm. There won't be any code in this lesson. The goal is simply to introduce the OOP way of thinking. We'll cover three concepts in this lesson. The first concept is the difference between a class and an instance. Here we have a template ice cream. Later, we'll talk about what this template actually contains. For now, think of this template as your expectation of an ice cream. You expect to be able to eat it, you expect a scoop of ice cream, and an ice cream cone, and maybe you expect vanilla flavor by default. However, this template, your expectation, is imaginary. Here we have an actual ice cream serving that you can eat. Notice you can spawn multiple servings from a single template. Also notice that you can eat each serving at different rates. One serving may have one scoop left, and the other may have no scoops left. Now, let's rename template and serving. Instead of template, we'll call this a class. The ice cream class is your expectation of an ice cream, what it contains, and how you can interact with it. We'll dissect this in more detail in the next section. Instead of serving, we'll call these instances. An ice cream instance is an actual ice cream you can eat. Like before, notice you can spawn multiple instances from a single class. You can also eat each instance at a different rate. One instance may have one scoop left, and the other may have no scoops left. In OOP terminology, we say we've defined the ice cream class. In this lesson, I'll give you several fundamental building blocks for how to design these classes. We'll start with defining methods. In this section, we'll talk about class methods. We actually used methods in Coding 101 Python for Beginners, but in this class, we'll be defining methods. To understand a method, let's go back to our ice cream example. Methods help us define what can I do with ice cream. Well, we can eat and add scoops to our ice cream. And that's it. These two actions are our methods. We will code these methods later. In OOP terminology, we design our ice cream class to include the eat and add scoop methods. Again, we design our ice cream class to include the eat and add scoop methods. That concludes methods. But now, how do we implement these methods? Well, each of our ice cream instances needs to know how many scoops are left. That brings us to attributes. Attributes are pieces of information. We'll first focus on information that is specific to an instance, or a serving of ice cream. Back to our ice cream example, what information is specific to each ice cream instance? First, the number of scoops left may differ between ice cream instances. Second, the flavor of ice cream may differ between ice cream instances. In OOP terminology, we design our ice cream class to include the eat and add scoop methods. It also includes attributes for the number of scoops left and the ice cream flavor. And that's it. These are the building blocks of object-oriented programming. To recap, we covered the difference between classes or templates and instances. We also discussed the role of methods, describing how to interact with an instance. We mentioned attributes, which hold information about an instance. I know there were a lot of terms in this lesson, but don't worry, we'll continue to use these terms again and again in the upcoming lessons. By the end of this class, you'll be sick of hearing of the words class, instance, method, and attribute, but you'll also understand these terms much more deeply. For a copy of these slides and more resources, make sure to check out the course website. This concludes our lesson, the object-oriented programming paradigm. In the next lesson, we'll start simulating an ice cream truck using these concepts.